Hi everybody, Phil here. Welcome back to the Man Cave. Now, as you may remember, the last time we were here, we were putting on the primer coat. As you can tell, we got some colors on these walls. The last time we were here, we had it mudded and taped, and then I put on a white primer coat, which is nothing more than a white flat paint coat. And the reason you put that on there again is to show any imperfections you might have had in your finish on your mudding and taping. Once you put that primer coat on there, you're going to be able to see those errors, and then you fix them. You know, whether you have to mud it over, sand it, and then mud it some more, you just hit it in those spots. Now, after you hit it with those, that mud or the sandpaper, you're going to need to hit it with that white flat paint again. And the reason you want to do that is so that we're not going to flash on this wall. And what I mean by flashing is when we put this eggshell finish, this is an eggshell finish, and when we put that on there, if we didn't prime those spots that we touched up, all of a sudden those would jump out at you. You'd be able to see it from all the way across the room. So make sure you get a good primer coat on there on all the spots that you touch up after your first primer coat. And then you come back over, and what we're doing in here is going to be what we call a Bellagio faux finish. The Bellagio faux finish is a type of finish. It's actually a 4 to 5 step process, depending on what kind of finish you really want in the end product. Now, as you can see over here, I've got my base coat on, and that's a Russian blue is what it's called. Now, you simply paint that on, you cut it in around the ceiling line to get yourself a nice even line, and then you just roll this wall out and you put this base color on here. Now, you're going to have to wait till the next day, because the next thing you're going to do is you're going to start applying a top coat, a Bellagio coat. And actually, this Bellagio coat, when you open the can up, I'll show you this a little bit later on, but when you open the can up, it doesn't look like paint at all. I mean, it resembles it, but there's a lot of little crystals and beads in there. And what those are color beads for this top coat. So anyway, I'm going to show you right now what the difference is. You can see, I'm guessing, the difference between here and here. We cut this off at the corner, just so we can show you the difference. Give me a second here. I'll grab the tools and I'll show you what kind of tools you need to apply this type of top coat. Hang on just a second. Okay, now what I've done is I've changed the angle a little bit so you can see this finished product a little bit better. There's our base coat on that wall. Here's the finished product. Now, how do you get the finished product? Well, I'm going to tell you. First thing you do is you buy a faux brush, and they sell these in the same areas as they sell the paint products. It is a Bellagio faux brush. There's all different kinds of faux. You can get all different kinds of finishes, but for what I wanted, this brush was necessary. And then also, after you, what you do with this is you dip it in there and you kind of put a little bit of a pattern on here, but not a lot, and you let that sit for just a couple of minutes to let that kind of crystallize and set up. Then once it crystallizes, as you can see, I got a trowel here. This is a Bellagio faux trowel. You can see how the ends are rounded, but outside of that, it's pretty much like a drywall knife, but it doesn't have the sharp edges, so that when you go along here, what you're going to do is those little crystals that you just placed on here, you're going to cross those in various random X patterns, and then that's going to smear those crystals. It's going to break those crystals and kind of smear that around. And you let that set up for a couple of minutes. You come back over with a different brush. This is just a standard 3.5 inch, or you can use a 4-inch brush, and you go right back over those same spots, and you put that random X pattern over the top of that. And what you should have at that point is kind of a marbly, smoky looking effect. But if you have some areas that you're not necessarily real happy with, good old-fashioned cotton rag. And you get this just barely wet. I mean, you wring it out real good so that there's not a lot of moisture on there. And if you got some spots that are a little heavy, you know, you kind of go through there and you clean those spots up and you get yourself a more marbleized or smoky kind of finish. And that's what I wanted down here for the man cave. So yeah, it's a pain. I got to tell you, to paint a wall that, you know, it doesn't take much, but 15 minutes to get a base coat on here. But then when I go from this corner to over here, which is maybe 14 feet, in order to do these other processes, you know, it takes you probably, I'm going to say 2 hours, maybe 3, to get about a 14-foot wall done, you know. But that's what we wanted. We didn't want just a flat wall over here like what we got over here. Yeah, it looks fine, but you know what, it's kind of boring. And I wanted something a little special for the old man cave, so I'll get on the other side of the camera and maybe take some closer up shots so you can see the finish. It's probably kind of hard to see. It might just kind of look like a lighter colored wall. I really don't know what it's looking like on your end. So I'll zoom it in and you guys can take a look at the finish. You know, it may not be exactly what you like, but it's what I wanted. It's kind of a marbly, smoky looking product, and for down here in the man cave, that's perfect. But I tell you what, I'm not going to get into this right this second. I'll show you the finished walls, and then on our next clip after I show you those finished walls, we'll have my buddy Buzz. He's a professional painter. He's been painting for 20-something years. He's painted the likes of Brett Hull, a hockey star, and Joe Buck, a Fox News announcer, sports announcer. Not news announcer, he's a sports announcer. His father was Jack Buck, who announced for the Cardinals for years and years and years. But Joe is really going on to seek his own fame and fortune. But anyway, Buzz, my buddy, is going to come over, and I'm going to film while he's actually putting this texture on here, so you guys can see exactly how it's done. And we'll show you that right after we show you the finished walls. Okay, I'm going to start us out in that corner over here, and I'll zoom in just a little bit, maybe, see if we can get some focus on there. And as you can see, the wall finish is kind of a smoky, kind of marbly finished. I'm trying not to make this blur out, but as you can see, there's a lot of texture in that wall. It's kind of a marbleized looking finish, and that's what we were looking for. I'll show you down here. Maybe there's my new outlets. So I got plenty of outlets for my workbench is going right over here, and that should service us just fine. Gotta get that light hooked up, but temporarily I just got the cord running down there. But as you can see, got a nice textured finish to it, and up close and personal, I can tell you it really looks nice. Hi everybody. You know what? I've had a little change in game plan. Yeah, we're still going to get Buzz in here, but I've kind of rambled on for, you know, we're going on 10 minutes here, and we do have some time constraints as far as downloads and things like that on pre-recorded shows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump off of here right now and turn things back over to Randy, and we may come back in later on in the show, or you may have to wait till just you know, till next week to watch Buzz actually put the faux finish on. It depends on, I guess, what all we got for this week's show. So anyway, till next time, this is Phil from the Man Cave. Thanks a lot. And the next time we're back here, maybe later on in tonight's show, we'll have Buzz here, and I'll show you exactly how this faux finish goes on. We're going to change this to this in the next episode. Back to you, Randy. Thanks, guys.